Hey folks, welcome back. So there's a mechanic I wanted to teach you, and I just call it manual parry disabled because that's just a term lifted from Nioh 1. So you know how against many opponents they block and your attacks basically ricochet, right? See if I can get him to ricochet, right? See, it's just ricocheting and it sucks. Like, hey man, let me do my freaking attacks, right? And so you may be wondering, how can I get around this? So I've actually hinted at this in quite a few guides, and that is involving pre-shifting. So with all weapons, high stance, whenever your attacks are in high stance, they will never get deflected by a blocking human, all right, no matter what. You can always power through. This is actually what makes dealing with human opponents a lot easier. Yeah, thanks, buddy. So let me remind you what it's like in high stance. Come on. Okay, dude, come on, block. Okay, I'm gonna wait for him to get some key, and then I'll try again. He just does not want to cooperate. Come on, dude. See how I can keep going, and I can keep going through those moves, right? Now, what I've talked about before with pre-shifting is that you can do certain things in different stances. So what you want to do to prevent attacks from being deflected is, as the attack is going off, all right, you need to switch to high stance. That's crazy, right? So as, say, you're doing, let's say with the spear, a mid-stance attack, pre-shift to high and you won't get deflected. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. So, okay. Need you to start blocking, please. You hear how the clang, but the attack went through? Come on, up you get. Alright, let's try this again. I got blocked. So if you know an enemy's gonna block, you can pre-shift to high stance and your attack will not get deflected because the game is reading, hey, you're in high stance. Now the trouble is gonna be, hey, let's say I want to do, and the attack that I have for spear is mid stance. Now the trouble is going to be, well, if I'm in high stance, I'm gonna start doing high stance attacks if I push the buttons, and you're right. So what you have to do, and this is kind of crazy, and let me actually kill him so that I can focus on that. Really? Really, dog? Really? Okay, you're getting the hammer. You're still getting the hammer. Okay, you're dead. So here's what you gotta do. You have to switch to high stance, and then when the attack gets blocked, you have to quickly switch back to the original stance so you can keep the combo chain going. This is very difficult, but it is possible, and it's done by players such as Last to Load. Many other players do it. That's just the one that came up the top of my head. So, you know how you have a little bit of time before you have to do an attack or key pulse? You're going to take advantage of that window in between where you can get away with pressing nothing to switch your stances regularly. So it'll be a bit of a delay, but it's not too bad. So usually it's before the key pulse window, perfect key pulse window comes into play, but it depends on the attack. I would generally advise to try to switch your stances, pre-shift in between, before the key pulse window really starts. Alright, so let's see if I can demonstrate this. I'm not sure if I'll be able to with certain weapons since it's not something I practice. And also this opponent doesn't necessarily do the best showcase of it. So you'll see me very frequently, just out of habit, swap to high stance so that I can make sure that things don't get blocked. Let's see if I can do this. Come on, sword, come on, let me do it with the sword, buddy. See, like that, it's very troublesome. So yeah, it's very tricky. So you want to get into a rhythm of this. It's very difficult. You have to switch stances twice as the animation is going. as you hit their attack. You do it at the wrong time, it will not work. Yeah, try that on out for size. And this works against, maybe I should showcase it against Honda. But yeah, it'll take some practice, but you can definitely manage it. See, like there? Okay, dude. Take the hammer. It is really tricky, so I'll try to break it down again. So you need to pre-shift to high stance, okay? So as the attack is going, step 1 is pre-shift to high stance. And if you don't want to go for the combo unders, you don't have to. I generally don't, but pre-shift to high stance to make sure none of your attacks get blocked. Then if you want to keep the combo chain going, you need to change back to the original stance so that you can keep attacking if you want to do a combo ender. Alright? If you get blocked, normally, well, you can't do anything. So bear that in mind. You have to switch to high stance, change back to the original stance in time before the key pulse window without triggering a key pulse so you can do a combo ender, alright? It's tricky. It's really tricky, so this is something that's really advanced, and I have a lot of trouble with it myself, so don't feel bad if you can't do it. See, like now I'm struggling to do it because I don't even do it that much. But you'll get the swing of things, and it will be helpful. So remember, you want to switch to high stance so that when your attack connects, the ricochet doesn't occur, and then basically in anticipation of that, you need to swap back to the original stance. And this works with any stance, so it just takes some time. But you have to take advantage of the delay in which you can input a combo ender. So bear that in mind. Let me showcase it once more. Gotta show it with the spear. You have to know when they're gonna block, right? Oh, come on. God dang it. Come on, spear, come on. Let me get the hit. Let's go. Let's go. For real. For real. You are so aggressive, it's so troublesome. Now, the one thing I will say about this is not really that necessary as much as you might think. Because guess what? Can't really parry yokai abilities. So, I don't depend on it that much, but it's certainly a very helpful tool for you to have on occasion. What I do use it for, as opposed to making sure my attacks can go through for combos, is I just like to use it for running and dodging attacks. So let me see if I can get him to block. It's really viable then, because then I don't have that pressure of trying to make sure I can switch back like twice. So you'll see that very frequently from me. And that's how I think you would have an easier time of using it. Making sure that your dodge attacks don't get deflected. It's still pretty heavy on the inputs, but it is pretty handy to have that at work. Of course, with weapons like Axe and the Adachi, it's not too bad. And also with weapons like the spear, since I am almost always prepared for spear flourishing anyway, I generally get what I'd like for it to work in my favor. But yeah, that'll take some practice. It's not easy. It is not easy whatsoever. So play around with that, see how you feel. It is quite input heavy, which is why it's a veteran lesson. And it does take advantage of quite a few things that we have to learn. And yeah, I don't really think there's much else I can say about manual parry disabled. It will be a very helpful tool. But again, you do have yokai abilities, and there are many weapons that don't care that you get deflected, such as dual swords with abilities like Moonshadow. If you do get deflected, then you can press triangle. Also, the reverse is also true with weapons like this. Let's say you do want to get deflected in high stance and switch to either mid to low, and then you can do Moonshadow if that's something you want. But aside from that, you do have on-key pulse abilities such as Winter Wind. You do have on-key pulse abilities like, where are we at? Spear Flourish. So even if you do get deflected, you can do Spear Flourish if your timing is nice. You do also, I think Rainbow Ruse might work. I'll have to double check real quick. Let me actually check that out real quick for you. Alright, come on. Yeah, you can Rainbow Ruse, which can be really nice. So Spear Flourish is always an option. So don't worry so much about it. You'll be okay. Aside from those abilities, we have abilities, I mean, Axe don't care, just literally mid stance, high stance, most of everything will never get blocked. Kusarigama doesn't have nearly as many options. Odachi, I do not believe it does either, but again, it's Odachi, so you power through mostly things anyway. Tonfa is very interesting now because of, I mean, you can Demon Dance, get deflected, and most of the time you won't be using normal attacks, but even if you do get deflected and don't want to do Demon Dance, you could always do Demon Dash. Where's my Demon Dash? Demon Dance, and Demon Dash, and Demon Fang. You've got options in case you get deflected. And then Hatchets has Wolf's Rage. Wolf's Rage, really awesome for that purpose. Depletes a lot of ki. Does have a bit of a cooldown, as I don't think I actually covered this in the Hatchets guide, I'm not sure. But yeah, you got Wolf's Rage, so you don't really have to worry whatsoever. And anytime you get deflected and on Key Pulse, you can always do an active skill as well. Switchglaive, again, Switchglaive isn't really not that big of a deal. Blitzstaff also has options such as, where's my Darting Cloud? But if you extend certain attacks, it won't necessarily matter as much. And then Fist naturally doesn't give a crap because most players play in high stance, but you also have Rising Gale. And then the last thing that I'll say is that, yeah, it does suck to have your normal attacks get deflected, but one of the ways you can simply adapt to it beyond using yokai abilities is, well, hey, I know they're going to block, so guess what? Let's use an attack that has a lot of break. So, for example, if I know they're going to block, well then let's do Piercing Rain instead. Try to block that, dude. Enemies cannot block active skills, for the most part. I know Tokichiro is a little different, but take advantage of the fact that they are blocking to cripple them. Use your active skills for sure, and you won't really feel the need for manual parry disabled. Yes, it would be nice. I completely agree, but enemies cannot block active skills. So you can't block that. You can abuse that to completely mess with them. Can't block Severing Spin, dude. Can't block yokai abilities, dude. Can you? No, you cannot. So yeah, yokai abilities, you've got on-key pulse skills and active skills to help you not really feel the need for manual parry disabled, but in case you need to use it, just a reminder, switch to high stance during the animation of said attack. If you want to do the skill ender, you need to make sure to quickly switch back after your attack doesn't get deflected. Alright, it will take some practice, but you do have that window. So that's going to be it for this lesson. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you guys next time.